really about how do you save that 4 hours per week per employee, or even if it's 2 hours a week per employee. Where do you get that from? And how do you use the Microsoft 365 suite to achieve those savings? Here's MyAnalytics. Here's the dashboard. You can get to this. Anyone that has an Office 365 license, you can get to this. You may get the regular weekly emails with updates on analyzing your workday, your work week. Or you can also go into your Microsoft 365 account and go to show all your applications and click on MyAnalytics, and it's going to pull up this dashboard for you that we're showing here. And the interesting thing to me is that Microsoft is getting into that world of looking at both productivity and wellness, right? So it's not just we want to figure out ways to make people work harder and harder and harder. We also want to make sure that there's a wellness factor and we're not burning people out. And the MyAnalytics stuff is an opportunity for you to help your team self-coach, give them the tools so they can coach themselves. And it's one of the ways that we think we can start to get some of those 4 hours a week back. So let's just look through. So this is the main page. Within the main page, there's a couple of key insights at the bottom. So this would be the bottom of the main page. This is from my page, by the way, and it gives me three comments, talks about meetings, talks about email. And then when I click, I'll just go back up there. When you click the view suggestions, which are the bottom of each of these boxes, it's going to give you recommendations on how to deal with these challenges. So it says I spent 3.5 hours in meetings with Bobby, and it says my meeting hours have increased. And then during working hours, I read email really fast. So apparently that's a bad thing. So let's look at what it says. Insights. It says, hey, maybe try and divide and conquer a little bit with meetings. Plan out your week. Make sure you've got some focus time. And then it talks about quiet hours and notifications. So some key recommendations. If I'm not super sure about how to deal with that stuff, I can go into a little bit more detail, and you'll see the panes on the left here that have focus, well-being, network, and collaboration. And each of them are going to go into a little bit more detail and give some recommendations on how you can work a little bit more. So obviously they're giving me recommendations saying don't be so distracted by email. You can be more productive. Make sure you have some focus time. You're not just constantly in meetings. From a well-being perspective, apparently I only shut off for 1 day in the past month or so. So my family would probably attest to that. So that's good. It's a good suggestion. I should probably have some more quiet days. And then it talks about your network, and this is kind of neat. You can basically label who your key contacts are. Who are your most important contacts? When you label people as your most important contacts, what it does is it will give you feedback and to-dos and important information and that sort of thing, so that it'll help you get the work done that you need to get done, right? And then on the collaboration side, there's some interesting stuff, some interesting self-analysis about meeting habits. It'll tell you if you're emailing a lot in meetings, whether you have a high level of attendance, whether you're meeting on Teams, if you're overlapping, all that stuff. It's pretty neat. So the other part about this MyAnalytics is you can turn on something called Insights. This is a screen grab of my Outlook. You see on the right here, there's a Insights pane that shows up, and this is where it uses that AI power, and it pulls out, hey, here's some tasks, here's some things that you need to do for meetings coming up, here's a document that you haven't looked at, and it pulls some interesting information just to help you be more productive.